Alright everyone, welcome to Thursday's video. Do you fancy a wee break maybe from the incessant derby previewing? Yeah, someone saying no at the back. I think in general we will. I mean, we'll probably end up touching on the game a little bit today, but there have been a couple of stories, one in particular, I guess, that I think are worth a bit of attention. And as I say, will give us just a little bit of a break from the wall-to-wall preview. And tomorrow's video will be a mega preview ahead of the match anyway. Stevie's going to join me for that. So, yeah, let's hold back some of the chat for then, shall we? An interesting report emerged last night from Stephen McGowan at the Daily Mail. A reminder, if you need it, that he is one of the Celtic reporters / journalists you should probably be looking out for. He seems to have pretty good contacts and has done for years. Anyway, he says that Celtic have placed Motherwell goalkeeper Liam Kelly on a hit list of summer transfer targets. Now, we are of course searching for a replacement for Joe Hart, who's retiring now in 16 days. Joe Hart's only got 16 days of his career left, and he's still got 2 trophies to potentially win. Talk about things going to the wire. Ben Siegrist also apparently set to leave, according to this report, in search of first team football. That's probably not a massive surprise that Siegrist is going to leave. And yeah, it seems like Liam Kelly at Motherwell may be who we're looking at bringing in. He's out of contract at the end of this season, so would therefore cost us nothing. And the report mentions the bonus of him being a Scottish trained player as well, with regards to the UEFA quota of Scottish trained players. He's also said to be well known to Stevie Woods. Now, I know Liam Kelly's been in and around Scotland squads. I think he's kind of widely expected to go to the Euros this summer. Stevie Woods, I don't think, is with Scotland any longer, but I wonder if he has worked with Kelly, with the national team, the national setup, and that's where he's aware of him. Kelly did come through the youth teams at Rangers a number of years ago, was even part of their first team squad for a period of time. Never actually played for them though. He has played mainly for Livingston, you may remember, Queen's Park Rangers, and of course Motherwell. Now, I'll be honest, it's not a potential signing that gets me particularly excited, but not all of them have to. If we're looking at a potential replacement for Ben Siegrist, as someone who, is a reliable shot stopper, I think he's a decent enough keeper, Liam Kelly. And if there's a prospect of us getting him in for nothing with his contract up at Motherwell in, again, a matter of weeks, and also if he ticks that UEFA quota box, it may be one that makes sense. I think the UEFA quota stuff is actually pretty important. It's something as fans we tend not to pay too much attention to, but I always think the club are very aware of it. Just a quick reminder that 8 of the 25 players Celtic register for European competition on their List A have to be what UEFA call locally trained players. Those 8 can be made up of a maximum of 4 association trained players, a player trained for at least 3 years as a youngster by another Scottish club. Think Greg Taylor. Obviously Kelly would come under that as well if signed, while the rest are club trained players, so someone who has trained for at least 3 years as a youngster at Celtic. James Forrest, Callum McGregor, Anthony Ralston, Stephen Welsh, the list goes on. Now, having one of these spots taken up by a goalkeeper, with obviously Scott Bain being another one, would mean it would be a little more free to go all out with our outfield players. So I think it might be a decent enough move for the club. And as I say, as a replacement for Ben Siegrist, I think decent enough. Liam Kelly, while it's hardly the most exciting signing, it may make a little bit of sense, in fact more than that. I think obviously looking at the replacement for Joe Hart, you're wanting the club to go all out there and get someone proven. And someone who can be a leader and a first team goalkeeper for Celtic. You know, it's no small ask being Celtic's goalkeeper. We've got recent experience of that and how badly things can go wrong if you don't get that signing right. I don't even need to utter the guy's name. But yeah, replacing Joe Hart isn't going to be easy, but I think equally the club have an opportunity to make a big signing there. When I say big signing, I don't necessarily mean a big name. I just mean someone with good pedigree who can be a top goalkeeper for us, like Hart has been, to be honest, but also like Fraser Forster and Artur Boruc before him. The report from McGowan doesn't actually stop there. There's a bit of news on the scouting front and scouting operations at the club, which seem to be undergoing a bit of an overhaul. Now, you may remember, I think early March, head of recruitment Mark Lowell announced that he was departing the club. Joe Dudgeon, who was also in that kind of scouting team, also left at that point to pursue new opportunities. So they have left, and now we're getting reports that the club have brought South American specialist Mark Cooper on board. He's someone who's said to be highly rated by Brendan Rodgers. He's been pretty critical of the club's scouting operations over the years on social media, something we'll come on to in a little second. Again, that may be something that endears him to Brendan Rodgers, who knows. Rodgers said to have spoken about him a couple of weeks ago at that Q&A where he kind of broke the big Dyson Maeda news. So I think Rodgers is a fan of Mark Cooper, and the report says that he's been set the task of improving the standard of first team recruitment. Obviously that's something that's been badly lacking this season, and Cooper is said to have started already drawing up a list of potential signings. Now, Cooper appears to have an eye for a player, as we say, specialises in the South American market, and even in the very early days of their careers, he seems to be able to spot a talent. Back in August 2015, so nearly a decade ago, he tweeted about Valverde of Penarol under-16s being like Paul McStay. Now, this Valverde was Federico Valverde, at that stage playing for the under-16s of the Montevideo side Club Atlético Penarol, and now, yeah, that one, starring for Real Madrid and undoubtedly one of the top midfielders in world football. Now, the story goes and the rumours go that Cooper recommended Valverde to Celtic. Needless to say, we didn't take up that recommendation and sign him. And as I say, Cooper has been pretty critical of the club in all different areas in the past. So he's now on board an official employee, just an employee, and he's able to make some sort of impact in the scouting area. And it certainly seems like we're going to be delving into the South American market again. We did that most recently with Alexandro Bernabé, and where there's been a bit of chat about whether Cooper actually recommended Bernabé to Celtic. It seems like he didn't. I believe that may have been Mark Law's area of expertise as well in South America. I think Cooper was a fan of Bernabé and felt it would be a good signing, though. Seems to have deleted those tweets, just searching around this morning, which is kind of interesting. Obviously, you're never going to get every player right as a scout, but certainly if he sees the talent in someone like Valverde when he's 15, 16 years old, then that's promising that we've got him on board. And it seems very much like Celtic are going to be revisiting this South American market. We've had a lot of success in Asia over the past couple of years, mainly Japan, to be honest. The South Korean stuff hasn't quite kicked into gear yet, although, I think all three players have some sort of potential there and have shown something. Con, admittedly, at St Mirren rather than ourselves, but certainly the Japanese stuff on the whole has been massively positive. But it's clear that the club want to go down the South American route, and I think they feel that there's real talent to be had there, and Cooper seems to know his stuff. So it's going to be very interesting to see whether we do actually sign any players from South America this summer. And if we do, it's pretty obvious now that they're going to be Cooper's recommendation. So there's not really going to be much of a hiding place for him now. But certainly when you go back to that Valverde tweet, it excites you a lot just seeing the date and the fact that what Valverde has gone on to achieve into another Champions League final, of course, last night. So yeah, that's what's going on with the scouting department at the moment. Obviously really need to improve that area from this season, but if we do, things could certainly look even better than they are right now. Just a wee bit of sponsorship news that I want to move on. I don't know if this kind of thing interests you. I won't spend too long on it. Cinch's sponsorship of the Premiership, as well as the Championship, League 1 and League 2, is going to end at the end of this season. We've got one more chance potentially to get Rylan on board, handing the trophy over to Callum McGregor, although I do think Santa's a much better option this year. Wonder if the club will go down that route if we do manage to win the league title. Anyway, Cinch are out of here. They actually signed a 5-year deal back in 2021, but they're exiting that 2 years early due to having an issue with just one of the 42 SPFL clubs. I'll give you one guess as to who that club are. Yep, nailed it. Anyway, yeah, Cinch will be out. William Hill will be in, paying £2 million per season for 5 years. Now, personally, and this is just personally, I'm not a fan of having betting companies involved in our game, just given the damage that they can do to, individuals and families. I would much rather we were getting money from other places, quite frankly. But, that's just my thoughts. The league will be the William Hill Premiership from next season onwards, it seems, so you can get used to that. In other news, the club have announced that 3 more legends will join the Player of the Year awards at the Hydro on Sunday night. They are Neil Lennon, French Eddie, always hated that nickname, and Sammy. Not a massive fan of that either, to be honest. The club say that less than 500 tickets remain for the event at the Hydro. Brendan Rodgers gave an interview to Celtic TV yesterday ahead of the derby. As always with these kind of in-house interviews, there was nothing major in there to take away, just some general quotes on things. And he paid tribute to the support and the role the support played on Saturday against Hearts, and basically said he's hoping for more of the same this weekend. The crowd in the Hearts game was brilliant for us. Their importance at this stage of the season and really getting behind the football aspect of the club and the team. We saw that emotion just roll down out of the stands and go onto the pitch. You see what it gives the players and how they respond to that. We need that exactly the same at the weekend, and I know we will get that because I think the supporters are happy with what they are seeing now in the team. It should be a great occasion and I'm really looking forward to it now. Yeah, we've had it right there. We had it yesterday from Liam Scales talking about the effect the Celtic support can have on the team. And, Brendan Rodgers outlining that as well. He also said something along the lines of this being the best shape we've been in since he's come back to the club squad-wise. And I think it's hard to disagree with that. We kind of have everyone fit, I think, for this weekend. And certainly more up to speed. When you think, like, last time we went to Ibrox, I know we had most players available for that. But, like, Callum McGregor really wasn't there as much as he came on as a sub. Rio Hatate, I think it was only his second game back. I think fitness-wise, sharpness-wise, the squad's in a really good place, and Rangers have a number of injuries as well this weekend that I think is pretty important, like key injuries as well, both defensively and in an attacking sense. So I think it's very easy at this stage to feel very confident of a Celtic result. And a number of comments I saw yesterday in the channel, someone saying it'll be 4-0 at half-time. I love the optimism, and honestly, if it is, you will have to scrape me off the ceiling for Monday's video. But yeah, I just think generally there's been evidence of derbies this season where we've been the underdog and we've managed to get positive results when people weren't necessarily expecting it. First derby of the season being the obvious one. So I just think as much as like the important people here, aka the management, the players, won't be getting overconfident, I don't think they'll be, focused. I think as the supporters as well, we have an important role to play at the weekend. And as much as we're going into it, and we want to have fun and enjoy ourselves, as Brendan Rodgers, said, and I thought they were really good comments, we also have to be realistic that it's a big game and it might not necessarily all go our way. I've just got this nagging thing, and I hate to be slightly negative, back in my mind. It's been one of those seasons where we've never really been able to kill them off at any stage, and there's always just been something around the corner that you weren't expecting, and I just really hope that's not going to happen this Saturday. I think, as I said all week, I think if Celtic turn up and we're sharp and we're moving the ball around and we're attacking, and the support are really behind the team and enthused, I think will be very difficult, certainly to beat for Rangers when the stadium's jumping. I think the worry would be that if we're all going into expecting 3-4-0, which I really don't think is going to happen this weekend. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I just hope we're not all going in with like really high expectations, expecting it just to be a party, because it might be difficult for spells. I think we're a better team than Rangers. We have better players. But if you look at the derbies this season, they've all been really tight. Even last season, pretty much all of them, apart from that 4-0 at the start of the season, only had a goal in them. So I just think, just generally, let's just be quietly confident and let's prepare to go to Celtic Park on Saturday, expecting a real battle, because I think it's going to be a real battle. Rangers are a dangerous team, especially when they've kind of, not that they've got nothing to lose, but they've kind of, it's their last chance this season. They have to win the game, and I think that makes them dangerous. So yeah, maybe you can tell I'm getting slightly nervous about this one. How will I be tomorrow? Well, you can join me and Stevie and maybe someone else to preview the game.